we are live again. We'll resume from where we had stopped in the last video because of some technical glitch that we
This
had.
is
We
the
were talking.
disappointing second album.
Yes, yes, yes. We were talking about the England bowling lineup and the bowling combination that probably England would use. And Tony, what do you think about the England bowling combination? Whether they would go with an all-round four-man pace attack, or they would still go with 3+1 Bashir and all-rounder in Stokes?
I hopefully think they go for 3+.
One.
I hope they get there. I hope they do keep a spinner in. Perth would be the one place they wouldn't. I don't think it'll be Mark Wood.
Okay.
I think the alarm bells have been rung
Yes.
on his injury. On the one hand, you can argue Perth is just the track that they've been trying to get him fit for.
Mm.
On the other hand, they'll be so conscious if you risk both him and Archer from out the gate. That's a high risk, and the fact he bowled 8 overs and then that was it in the Lilac Hill knockabout. I can't. That's just not enough prep. There's not enough prep for pounding in on,
So who are your bowlers?
hard Perth Stadium surface. I just don't. He wouldn't. I don't think he'd put him through 5 days. I think they'll want to give him somehow some more prep time. So I think Cast bowled very well, by the way, at Lilac Hill, and I think generally it is a surface that will suit him. So I think you can definitely see Archer, Cast. With Hendo, it'll probably be Atkinson, Stokes, Bashir. That would be
Atkinson,
my guess.
Stokes, Bashir, and who was the other one?
Archer,
Okay. Cars.
Atkinson,
Okay.
Cast, Stokes, Bashir. I think that's the likely lineup. I don't know if I've missed anyone, but I'm pretty sure that's might be. Well, I think that's likely.
Okay.
I mean,
Hendo, what
do you reckon, Hendo?
I got the impression, I don't know whether I got this right, but just it's very hard to follow these games where more players play than you can, imagine. But didn't show Bashir switch.
Yeah, he basically bowled for both sides to get miles in, to get,
as you do.
Everyone else was looking at the side that was England as opposed to England Lions. It looked very much like what they wanted to play at Perth. Then they realised that Bashir was needed to wheel some overs into him, so they let him bowl for both sides. But other than that, it was a genuinely structured warm-up game, as it were, of 11 against 11. It wasn't like one of these, one team had 14 or 15. I just think the Wood thing. Would you risk Mark Wood? I just wouldn't.
Actually, now that you mention it, I think they make a very good point. I hadn't really thought of it that way. You just feel like they wanted to throw him in, and they would throw him in. But I mean, the very fact that they've come back and said, right, it's not a hamstring, which would have, I mean, a hammy at this stage could put you out for pretty much the series, couldn't it? I mean, it can take 6 weeks. So if that's what it could have been, it would have been disastrous. But if there is still, what is there in terms of injury? Just a pull rather than
or stiffness?
Or just stiffness.
Well, if I haven't played any serious cricket and then suddenly I'm doing 8 overs, I'd be stiff, mate.
Well, even before that, it was a big ask, and so I think with the injury, they may just go a little bit careful with that one. I suspect that Bashir is not going to play now. I think I had forgotten about Cast. I think Cast, Tongue, Atkinson will all play along with Archer and Stokes, and that will be England's bowling lineup. And Joe Root will be the spinner if they need any spin. That said, he didn't cover himself in glory, did he? 14 overs for 170 at Lilac Hill.
The one thing that was really noticeable about that game was from both sides was the speed of the scoring. Okay, it was a 3-day game, so if you want to get a result, and it was engineered to get a result. I don't know necessarily it was engineered to get a result that England would win and give them confidence, but it was played with a result very much in mind by.
Well, it was also played
by both sides.
I mean, if you're looking at sort of the Lions as being the pathway to the England full team. It's also, both teams playing baseball. So, you were going to get quick scoring in that game. I think whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's so difficult. I mean, even looking ahead to the Gabba, and people are talking about the pink ball will go around corners in the twilight. And they think, well, if that's the case, I'm not sure that would I play Wood there, because I'd like to have someone like Tongue who can really swing it late, potentially bowling there. But I don't know. It's. I went to, as some of you may know, that I went to see this show with Stuart Broad, where he's interviewed on stage for a couple of hours. And Broad was of the mind, I think he's probably said it since, that England have to win the first test. And I think that probably is spot on. I don't know. I mean, has there been a pink ball test at the Gabba so far?
There have been.
Yes, there has. West Indies beat Australia.
Yes.
Right. Well, there you go. That makes it interesting, doesn't it?
It's the only pink ball test in Australia that Australia have lost.
I mean, it does make it interesting because you are very reliant on when you get to bowl in the pink ball test matches, aren't you? I mean, we have seen the ball do a lot when it starts to, the darkness starts to come in a little bit. So I don't know. I think that's probably a discussion for another day, because England have got to get through Perth first and see how they are at the end of that. So I think it is actually the first test that should take all our attention, because that is going to lay out the foundation probably for the whole series.
All right. I still thought, I'm still of the opinion that England would probably go with 4 pacers in the form of Archer, Wood, Atkinson, and Tongue. Probably if Wood is not fit enough, I think he has already been cleared off from the hamstring injury that he had sustained after the precautionary scans. If he is not available, maybe they can go with Cars, but that's my viewpoint of England, going with 4 seamers on a Perth track, which is probably again the fastest track in the world, I think. Obviously not as fast as the old Waka track, but this new track is also as spicy, as lively as the older one, is what I think.
So I just want to correct a misapprehension. There's a lot of talk about the Waka track, and there were times it was really fast. There were also times it was really slow. It was an amazing wicket when it was fast, and it was almost unplayable. The stadium track is very fast, but it's also pretty consistent one year to the next. They've done a really good job on it. I think the other thing to note is that of the innings at the Perth Stadium, about half of them have gone for 100 overs or more. Now, if England are going to be bowling 100 overs at Australia, they're going to need someone spinning to help the fast bowlers through, in my view, unless Stokes is going to bowl 20 overs an innings, which would be unwise. And I'm worried Bashir is not a containing bowler. He's an attacking spin bowler, and I like that in a spin bowler, but sometimes you can't afford to have that. And I don't think Joe Root's a particularly good bowler in terms of containing things. So is there anybody else in the England side who can do any spin bowling?
Well, yeah, there's both Jacks and Bethel, but I doubt that either of them are going to play in this test match.
They're not.
Right.
And again, neither of them are, particularly economical, I would say. They're the kind of bowlers, certainly, as we saw with Jacks, he's the kind of bowler that you get him on a raging turn and he will take you a few wickets. But, most of the time it's not going to be a raging turner, certainly not in Perth. So, I can't see that England have any other options beyond they either decide to go with Bashir and see how it goes, or they rely on Root. I can't see any other any other way they can go.
Which would be a problem in itself, I think, because what's Joe Root's brief for this series? Be the rock around England, which England build their batting. the one thing you don't want to be throwing at him is, plus, by the way, you're going to have to hold up our spin department, because our current just is going to get clumped all over the park. I think that's unfair on Joe Root, and will impact not just the bowling department, it'll potentially impact the batting as well. I think
one thing to bear in mind in terms of Shoaib Bashir, if he does bowl, is that the square boundaries at Optus are huge, absolutely enormous, like the Wacky used to be. So he's got a lot of space to get people caught out trying to go over the boundary, which is, for spinners, makes a big difference. It seems
I can
to
see
me.
Duckett's first dismissal in my head, clear as a day now.
Well, the short boundaries, the straight boundaries are very short, by the way.
Are they as short as the Wacker? I mean, those were really short.
Yes, pretty much.
Yes. I mean, I think that's. I haven't heard it spoken about of late, but certainly in the build-up earlier to this series, there was a lot of chat from the Australians that they won't be able to play baseball as well as they do in England because of the length of the boundaries, or the size of the boundaries in Australian grounds. Now, I mean, I've been the MCG. It struck me that the side boundaries, and Adelaide, certainly when I was last there, the side boundaries are really quite short.
Yes, they are very short.
Yeah. Whereas, you take somewhere like Adelaide, the hit straight down to the bank in particular is massive.
Yes. It's because cricket's played at football grounds in Australia, basically. That's what it is.
But my point about that is that, I mean, to be fair, England don't necessarily hit that straight. They actually, when they hit, they go to a corner, they go to the sort of sweep position, don't they? Deep backward square. So on grounds like that, I think then which of the playing areas is the biggest, would you say, Messy, of the
MCG? It's a little bit bigger than Perth, but not much. Yeah,
but it's still definitely I think from the last time I was there that the side boundaries weren't massive by any stretch of the imagination. I would say Adelaide, in terms of the side boundaries, is pretty similar to Barbados, which is extraordinarily short on the side. So
it is pretty short. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that talk from the Australians isn't more or less a bit of kidology.
I think so. I mean, there's been so much of that. People have been grabbing hold of anything to talk about in the lead up to the series, and I think most of it's been absolute bullshit. I can't be bothered.
And we're just adding to that.
Yeah, well, yes and no, because actually we're not talking about vibes. We're actually talking about performance and facts. Yeah. And to be honest, from an Australian perspective, I wish to fuck people like the West Australian would shut up. Yeah. Those headlines. Yeah. If I was the England coach,
are they the ones who called Ben Stokes Captain Complainer or something?
Oh yeah, all that sort of stuff. And Joe Root, I'd be sticking them all over the dressing room wall.
When he came through the airport, yeah. Oh look,
it all incentivizes the England team. I have no doubt. The reason the West Australian is so keen to do it is they just want to get something going, because Channel 7 and the West Australian are owned by the same conglomerate, and they want to get people watching their coverage.
Well, that's fair enough, I suppose. Well, it's not fair enough, but it's the way the world is these days. I don't really mind it. I must admit, that sort of stuff I just tend to ignore, because it's just not actually very funny. No. There was a time when that sort of stuff tended to be quite witty, but it's gone well past that point now, and it's just it ends up being either crude or just desperate.
Definitely
really.
crass.
We'll come to that at a later stage. Moving on to the next question that I have, and probably it would be a yes/no answer to it. Looking like in the previous last couple of years, the Australian pitches, we have seen fast bowlers doing the bulk of the talking, fast bowlers picking wickets. The last BGT, Border Gavaskar Trophy, we saw Bumrah, Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, Siraj, being amongst the top 4 bowlers. Do you think spin will have any meaningful role in this series? Starting with Messi.
So do I think that spin will?
Then
Yeah. Do you think it will have any impact? Spinners will have an impact?
I do. And the reason I think it will is that I think Nathan Lyon will probably get to bowl quite a lot of overs. And because he bowls steadily, he will frustrate people with this containment and take wickets because people are trying to hit him out of the ground or whatever it is.
he's played in all 5 tests at Perth and has taken
Yes.
29 wickets at 21. He got
More than anybody
7
else.
against India,
Yeah.
and 6 against the 6 were against the West Indies.
He's a legend.
So he's as good there as any pacer, better
Yeah.
in fact.
Yeah. He's not spectacular in the way he bowls, but he's amazingly consistent. And he's got such confidence in himself, and his team has such confidence in him that he fits in so perfectly. It's one of the reasons I wouldn't drop him is that it changes the balance of the team so radically.
Okay.
But I think he is a really, really consistent bowler. I loved it when he was talking one day and he said, "I love it when someone hits me for 6 because it means I'm in the game."
Is the story true about him being a pitch curator at the
Yeah.
Adelaide Oval?
Yes,
Yeah, that was-
absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's great. That's great. What do you think, Tony? The impact of spinners in this series? Do you think?
I wouldn't bet our house, but if I was metaphorically to bet my house of a shootout between Lyon and Bashir, I think I know where my money would be.
Obviously. Yes. Yeah.
I think at some point a spinner of Lyon's quality will have an impact.
Okay.
Unless he's injured, he's nailed on for all tests, I reckon.
Okay.
I'm not so sure Bashir will be.
I think yes, since you wanted a one-word answer. But
Sorry, I forgot that bit.
We'll actually expand on that because the others did. I would say I was moderately optimistic about Bashir in the summer because I think with his height and his ability to change his angle, he's quite happy to go around the wicket from time to time. He gets the kind of bounce that Nathan Lyon has got in Australia a lot, and not just Australia, but particularly in Australia. And England have shown themselves rather adept at forgetting there might be a short leg and a leg slip when Nathan Lyon's bowling around the wicket. And the amount of times it seems to me that we've just played a lovely controlled shot into the hands of a waiting Aussie on the leg side is quite large. So I think that Bashir could do that, but I think that that injury that he got right at the end of the season with the finger, I did see talk that that's not healed as well as they had hoped, or he still needs to do a bit of work to get back up to feeling that he's bowling at his best. My fear is that Australia, if he's not actually getting that bounce, if he's not bowling a consistent enough length and line, that Australia will do a Jack Leach on him and try and hit him out the attack early on. That might work for him. We've seen. I think Rishab did it once or twice in the summer.
Yes.
But I'm not as confident about him, and very few people are confident about him. I was probably one of the more confident people about him, and now I'm not that confident. Certainly not going into this first test. It's a tricky decision to make, but I think. Do you want that variety in Perth, or do you want?
Maybe in Adelaide you would be needing, but not in Perth, is what I think.
It's a tricky one. I don't know. I don't. The thing is, whatever decision England make, it'll be the wrong one.
And if it isn't,
I got to say, I think Bear would say yes, he'll do well because he's had increasing confidence in him.
Yeah. I think spin would not have that much of a role in this series. Even in the last BGT, as I've said, Nathan Lyons was also not limited. Like his role was limited, so maybe we would see something similar in this series as well. And if any spinner would have a good series, it would definitely be Nathan Lyon. It goes without saying. Moving on to the media mind games, as we have already touched upon a bit in previously. Ashes without any media mind games is nothing, as we have already Glenn McGrath with his usual prediction of 5-0 to Australia. We have seen David Warner, who has said that England is a side who is always chasing moral victory, and he believes that Australia would win 4-0 if Cummins plays, and if Cummins doesn't play, then probably Australia will win 3-1. Chris Wokes has said that England has a hell of a chance to win this Ashes under Stokes. Joe Root was labelled as average Joe, and Stokes was labelled as the cocky captain in the Australian newspapers' headlines. Broad has called this Aussie side, as the worst side since 2010-11, and Hayden's infamous remark, we all know that he would run naked if Joe Root does not score a century. Which of these statements do you find as funny, and what role does the media plays outside the field of play? Messy?
Well, I mean, I try to shut most of that out because it's just rubbish.
Nonsense.
I was interested, though, reading an article, I think it was by Mike Atherton in the Times, about the importance of the management of the English team, making sure that those articles are not top of mind in terms of the England players, that they move out of that mindset and just say, okay, we're playing this game. That you're going to get that bullshit anyhow. But he felt the pressure when he was touring, and I guess they must feel it as well. But the truth is that players like Root and Stokes, although the media may have a go at them, there is the potential for them to be really appreciated by Australians. And, you look at Kohli. I mean, it wasn't just the Indians in Australia that really loved having Kohli make runs. It was Australians, because he played the Australian way of playing cricket, attacking and not taking a backward step. Yeah. And they admire that. There's a real sort of sense of you're one of us if you're playing a game like that. And I think a lot of what the England team brings in terms of that aggression is that. And I think on the whole, the Australians, while they will be loath to actually admit it, will really like that. And I think, the media plays games, but there's an awful lot of shit, but there's some good stories in there as well. And that's why I like reading people like Atherton and others who actually get to the heart of it, rather than the headline writers who just want to get sensationalize it.
Yeah. Tony, what do you think about the outside noise? Would it impact? Would it affect
England? I think I get that. I think it's got, it's been there ever since Bodyline and probably before, isn't it? So we just shut that out and accept it. I think as a player, I'm not sure they do bother to read it anymore.
Okay, Hendo, anything you want to add?
I don't know what the policy is within the changing room regarding things like mobile phones. Obviously, there are computers around because they've got the analysts looking at stuff all the time. So, but whether individual players can get on, and if they're not having a great time and they start doom scrolling on social media, that would obviously be a very bad thing. You were talking about Atherton, and he was captaining it in '94 when England lost 3-1, and possibly could have drawn that series tour with a little bit more fortune, but that was a really good side, wasn't it, that they were playing against? But the thing that the likes of Athers and one or two other guys of that era is that they weren't dealing with social media as well, and the noise created by social media and the intrusiveness of mobile phones in terms of filming someone on the boundary, anything like that. Every time they step out of the hotel, someone's going to see them. It becomes really difficult for these guys. And I guess getting on the golf course is probably the best thing for them, to be honest. And I think they were making that point. I was watching this Sky discussion between Athos, Strauss,
and Nasser Hussain.
and Nasser, and they were kind of making the point about getting away from the game, even if it means. I mean, and it's different for different people. Some people might want to go and do their own thing. Other people might want to stay more with the group. That's all about management, isn't it? That's why you used to have a tour manager as such, as opposed to just coaches and whatever. So I think, it's going to be really difficult for them to deal with that. If things start to go badly from the word go for England, it's going to be really tough. Seen the argument also that the Australian media might get on the home team's back if things go poorly for them in the first couple of tests. So it can work both ways, can't it? But I think I don't think we've seen we've seen an Ashes series in the era of such spiteful social media and mainstream media as well. I think this is almost like a test run. I mean, you can go back to the last one in 2021, and that was COVID affected, so it was slightly different. I think, I mean, hopefully there are so many other disasters going on in the world that sort of thing won't take up too much space. But you can go on to. There is just going to be so much content around this series, isn't there? I mean, we're creating quite a bit of it ourselves. But you go onto YouTube last night. I went onto YouTube and found, didn't even have to look for, not just the mainstream discussions on the Telegraph or the on Sky, but people making their own content, going out on the streets of Perth saying, "What do you think?" Bloke saying, "Couldn't give a fuck." One bloke 5-0 Australia. The whole thing, and it's not intellectually stimulating. And there's just going to be, apart from us, there are now so many people wanting to make content that it's going to be hard to pick out the stuff that's worth reading. I suppose we're long enough in the tooth to know who to respect and who not to respect, and I guess that's to our advantage.
I think the one thing you can't argue with are stats. Whatever happens, whatever team Australia puts out, no matter how injury challenged they are, I think it is the best chance England have had for a while. But the stats are just shocking against England. Since 1980, they've won 9 tests. That's it in Australia. Out of 13 series, Australia have won 10. England won 2, which was 86, 87, and obviously 2010, 2011. England haven't won a test in Australia since 2011. They've lost 14 and squeezed 1 draw, which I think was at the MCG, and that wasn't a winning draw by any manner of means. And the last 2 series were 5-0, 4-0, 4-0. Yes. I mean, that means you could put out a team of blind under 12s, and it would still be the most phenomenal achievement if England were somehow to come back with the Ashes. Remember, they're held by Australia, so you have to win the series. You can't tie the series. It would be, it is time for England to not claim a moral victory. They need to claim a real one. And it would be phenomenal if they did. Phenomenal. I think the odds are still against them, but it would be magnificent if they could do it.
Yes, talking about that, we'll move on to the last segment, which is obviously about the predictions. So, Messy, let's start with your prediction of the scoreline for the series. What do you think?
Well, I'm rather hoping I'll be right with this, because I'm predicting it'll be 2-2, which will mean that it will remain interesting right to the end. I mean, God, we don't want to get to the fourth test with it decided again, do we?
No.
It'd be awful. And England have made a habit of 2-2 draws recently, against India and against Australia in the last Ashes series, and their previous 5-test series at home was also 2-2. So I think 2-2 is a great result because it keeps the tension going. The only caveat I think I'd have in relation to that is if Stokes goes down, then I don't think that England will win a test match after that. And, I think while he's playing, England are a real force. When he's not playing, I think their mojo just seeps out the door somehow.
Stops working.
I regard him as much, much more significant than McCallum in all of this.
Tony, what do you think?
3-1.
Predict 3-1 in favor of
the home team.
Okay. And
you can't hurts too much.
It's too much.
It hurts too much to
it hurts too much. Okay.
actually say Australia.
That's okay. That's okay. But
the home team, the hosts.
Oh, the hosts. Yes.
The people on that side of the world, down under.
Down under. Yes. And what do you think?
Well, can I just throw in on behalf of somebody else a prediction? I would say the Bear would predict that England will win 3-1.
Okay.
Probably.
His accuracy rate is not good though with these predictions. Let's be fair.
I'd say I'm stuck, and I've said it earlier, and I'll stick with it. I think it'll be 3-1 to Australia. It would be nice if England could at least win the first test, and that seems to be where their biggest chance lies. Before they've, got either completely demoralised or everyone's in hospital. So 3-1. I think England will bat well enough with where they play. They will bat well enough to win a test. The batting will come off once or twice, but I don't think it'll be enough because I don't think England are ruthless enough to finish Australia off when they are in the ascendancy. And this has been true over the years. England have, even in most of those 5-0 or 4-0 series, England have had good chances to win test matches, and they just haven't been able to do it.
Just talking about the Ashes record from 1882 till 2023, there have been 7 draws, and we have not seen consecutive series ending up in a draw. So if it is a 2-2 draw, probably it would be for the first time where 2 consecutive series have ended up in a draw. Australia have won 34 times, as in 34 series. England have won 32 series out of the 73, with 7 being ended up in a draw. 2 draws in Australia and 5 draws in England. So that's the record as of now. My prediction would be 4-1 in favor of Australia, is what I think. And talking about who do you think would be the player to watch out for, or probably the best batter, best bowler across both the sides? Messy.
Okay. So I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but I rather think that Steve Smith is going to be Australia's best batter, although Marnus has shown a bit of form. And as a bowler, it's very hard, but I think Mitchell Starc, he's just such a good bowler. For England, I think Root is the key. And as a bowler, I think Stokes will be England's best bowler. Although, if Archer plays more than 2 tests, he may be the key wicket taker. I think whenever Archer plays, he will be very good. And I'm reasonably confident that he will play. He's only played 2 test matches since the last Ashes series, but I think he'll play more than that in this series. And he's bowling so well when he does bowl that I think he'll have a huge impact.
Tony, your players to watch out for?
Joe Root to come good with the bat. I really think he will. I'm Team Root. I think he's going to do it this series. Scott Boland with the ball. I think England just look at him and go weak at the knees when he's bowling Australia.
Yeah, and a batter from Australia and a bowler from...
Oh, you want an Australian batsman?
Yeah, batter bowler from both the teams.
I've got a feeling Labuschagne. I'm with Messi. He's in awesome form. I I've already. You want a bowler from England?
Yes.
Maybe this is Archer's now or never, isn't it? It's his defining series. Keep him fit for 4 out of the 5 tests, and I think he might do the business. Whether it will be enough is a different story, but yeah.
And Hendo?
I said to someone earlier this week, I think that Joe Root and Harry Brook have to come off. The pair of them, I think they're crucial. I don't think Crawley's going to get runs. I'm a little bit worried about Duckett.
He won't bowl.
He may not bowl, which will be upset one of our Guerilla listeners. But yeah, I think it's going to be Root for England. It's crucial, Root and Brook, because they might find themselves in quite early, which is no, strange thing for Root in particular. Bowling, I think yes, Archer. It has to be now or never. Bowled well against India, didn't he?
Yes. From Australia?
Australia. Well, I would say Travis Head as the batsman, but I kind of feel like he's due a bad run. I mean, I've never seen him fail really in series. That said, I do think he is, and I know we say this about all batsmen, he is suspect against the short ball, and he's going to be particularly suspect against the short ball if Archer and Wood can get it going, and bowl at full pace, and Archer's height to get it to go off a length. He's a good puller of the ball as well. There's no doubt about that fact. But I think when he gets up against the best,
Yes.
then they can undo him in that area. So up into the armpit, he
might be on the wane a little bit. His golden year was 23, wasn't it? He won that
Well, yeah.
World Cup
Well,
finally. Won
that's
the.
what I'm hoping for. I'm looking for
World Cup
having a bad
finals,
series. Although, in the same way that Messi talks about wanting to see Joe Root play well, I do quite enjoy watching Travis Head. He's quite entertaining, isn't he? An Australian bowler. I mean, you would say Cummins or Hazelwood, but with both of them out of the first test, it's a tricky one. I really don't know anything much about Doggett at all. It really depends on how many tests players play. I mean, Nathan Lyon maybe, simply because he will pick up wickets. I mean, he may not pick up 8-fers and 7-fers, but I think the strength of this Australian side has been the way that wickets will get spread around quite happily. They do it as a team as opposed to individuals, I think, really, these days.
For me, I think Steve Smith and Mitchell Stark for Australia, and for England, I would go for Harry Brook and Gus Atkinson. Is what I think. Yes.
That's a roughie. Yeah.
That's a roughie, yeah. Will we see?
I have one other prediction for you too,
Go on.
and that is actually the Perth Test itself. I predict that whoever wins the toss, assuming they bat, whoever bats first will win the Test match. Right?
Okay.
And I'm assuming
based on the last 5 tests, or the only 5 tests ever played there. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. When you're on a good thing, stick to it, eh?
Yeah. And what is the pitch looking like? If you have any ideas.
I haven't seen it, but
Okay.
there was a Metallica concert there 10 days ago, but apparently it's survived fine. They kept a spare one to drop in case Metallica fucked it up, but I don't think they have. They've played an ODI there 2 weeks ago, just before the Metallica concert, and it was playing fast and bouncy for that. I think it'll play fast and bouncy. The weather here this week's warm. It's been warm for the last couple of days, not boiling hot, but enough to just make it a healthy pitch. So it's not going to be super dry. It shouldn't crack up too much because it's not super hot. I think it'll play hard and fast, and as I said at the beginning, hard and fast. As I said at the beginning, it'll take a little time to play yourself in, but once you're in, I think there's a lot of runs to be scored there. So I don't think it's likely to be a 3-day test, we used to do a lot of those at the Wacker, but not so much at the stadium.
Yes.
And I think it'll go to day 4 or day 5.
Maybe day 4. The Perth Test match between Australia and India last year. The first day, I think we saw around 17 wickets falling
Yep.
on the first day, but then the pitch, quite eased out on
Yes.
day 2 and day 3. So probably first day would be more bowling friendly, and then day 2, day 3, day 4 would be batting friendly. Is what I
Yeah, although there's been some big first innings as well, so don't necessarily base it on that. I mean, you had Cummins, Stark, and Bumrah in supreme form last year, which did make a big difference too.
Yeah, and Bumrah was the captain, and also the man of the match.
Yes.
The last time around. So yes, that's it. Anything else you want to add?
Oh,
Well,
can't
I
wait.
just
Every ball
hope
will be
you're getting in
available
your
on Guerilla.
pre-Ashes sleep, because I'm sorry for the fact that you have to get up in the middle of the night to watch it, but it'll be worth it.
It will be worth it. Yeah. And yes, Hendo, Tony, anything else you
Well,
want to add?
as Tony says, don't forget that you can listen to it all on GorillaCricket.com.
Yes.
So
I've also dropped in the link of Guerilla Cricket in the description. So whosoever
Excellent.
is listening,
Well
please
done.
subscribe. We will provide you the live coverage, ball by ball commentary. And yes, Tony,
Can't wait.
can't wait.
Looking forward to it. Long nights, hard days, nights, but it'll be worth it.
Yes. That's it. So that's all what we had for the preview of the Ashes. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Messy. Thanks, Hendo, for coming in. I
Thank
really
you,
appreciate
Raj.
your time. And yes, that's it. Cheers. Thanks. May the best team win. And yeah,
No,
that's it.
England need to win.
well, yeah, may the best team win as long as it's
As long as it's England.
England.
May the best team win, and probably the
May,
best team is
may
Australia.
Mother Cricket win.
Sod that mother cricket nonsense.
Yeah.
Cheers.
No
See
moral
ya.
victories, real ones.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers
Cheers.
all.
Bye-bye.
Enjoyed it. Take care all.
Yeah,
Take care.
good fun.
Bye.